Greetings historians, welcome to Lore of the Dragon. So here I am, making another talk about Cynder. This is a sort of second part to something I already touched on, that being Cynder being in the Reignited timeline, which might have had some developments with the progression of the multiverse. Now, some points I bring up are most likely going to cover something I've already talked about in the past, so I apologize in advance. Anyhow, as I was talking with some friends, not betting on whether or not I could write an essay on a very small topic, the entire topic circles back to the credit art of Reignited, the one that contained Cynder on some sort of plate. This, at the time of when I talked about it, had little to no info on it, but it was discussed that perhaps Spyro had seen Cynder in the Reignited timeline in the past, or just by pure luck drew up a depiction of Cynder. However, with the multiverse being a thing, it becomes really coincidental that Spyro would just somehow drop a depiction of someone who exists but hasn't met, or might be in a different universe. It might be possible, but I would say highly unlikely. With the addition of the multiverse to the lore of Spyro, it would seem that they have met another way. At least that would be the most probable explanation. Since multidimensional portals exist, and I imagine that they could be readily available to the dragons in some case, perhaps there was a time that they met due to those circumstances. What happened during that time, I'm not sure. But it was long enough for Spyro to at least remember Cynder. But that's not all I can dig up from this. The scale color is something else entirely. For this, I need to explain a theory on the multiverse. One that I somewhat would have saved for another time, but I think it's fine if I explain a bit of it here. I've observed, at least in what we've seen, that the multiverse seems to have many constants. What do I mean by that? Well, Crash and Spyro are one of these constants. However, they are affected by the things within the universe they're born into. They don't entirely override it, but there are creatures that do override the rules within each universe. Such are the quantum masks from Crash Bandicoot 4. They keep the constants of time, gravity, etc. from going out of balance, and creating quantum rifts, tears in space and time. So we know that there are beings that don't quite conform to the universe as we know it, because they conform to a greater multiversal law of constants. And it also seems like there's something else like that. Aether in both its forms, light and darkness. The effects these powers have over individuals seems to be shared for the most part throughout the multiverse, such as Dark Spyro, the Light Skylanders, etc., etc., etc. Now, taking that same logic, as we look back to this Cynder, her color seems to be reminiscent of another version of her, the Terror of the Skies. In this form, she was corrupted by the dark power of Malefor and mutated into an adult dragoness at an early age. That being said, this seems to be a different type of corruption than that of Dark Spyro, or even Dark Cynder, at least within the Legend of Spyro versions. However, at the end of A New Beginning, Cynder was returned to a form more fitting of her age, a smaller dragoness the size of Spyro. However, despite returning to her more natural form, she kept her black scales up until a later date where they had taken on a purple tint. To some degree, this has been a trend every time Cynder has a corruption story within each universe. And so, with that theme being prevalent, why wouldn't it be the same for a reignited Cynder? If that was the case, the implications are big. Just in this subject alone, it could imply that if this Cynder is from the reignited timeline, there's something out there that might have corrupted her. Something like the darkness itself, or in keeping with the theme of corruption, perhaps even Malefor. It would actually make sense perhaps for Malefor to be around, because the corruption, if it is the corruption, based on this theory, that means that it's very, very similar to the Legend of Spyro, and I think would make a lot of sense. Now, it also implies much the same if she came from another multiverse, but that I think could have an interesting twist, as well as there being various characters and constants throughout the multiverse. Something else that seems to have come up more and more is the existence of mirror universes, ones shrouded in darkness. The original timeline has it, the Legend of Spyro has it, and even Skylanders technically and Crash have it. This Cynder has the possibility of being from the Dark Mirror universe of Reignited, which could be a very frightening proposition if true. I don't know, maybe if Cynder is a thing, maybe they can try to tie it into something like the Dark Spyro we saw from Crash on the Run. However, she escaped, and then now somehow got into the Reignited timeline, or whatever timeline that the next Spyro game takes place in. We'll just have to see. In the future, I will see about covering more of my theory on the multiverse, but for now, that'll be it for me. Thank you all for watching this, and if you guys want to stay updated on Lore of the Dragon, be sure to check out and follow the Lore of the Dragon Twitter, or check out the community page here on YouTube. Or rather, if you just want to talk to people in the community, feel free to stop by the Discord. Both links will be down in the description below. But anyhow, that's going to be it. I'll see you all the next time we talk and speculate. Stay safe, historians.